Thank you for bringing us together tonight. We invite you into the space, into our hearts, into our minds, and into our choices. Give us clarity where we've been confused and wisdom to understand where we're learning. Help us see our bodies as something to care for, not neglect, and to move with awareness, not guilt. Let this be more than information. Let this be transformation. Um, Guide us as we grow, learn, choose better, one step at a time. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. All right. Here we go. All right. If you can flip over, welcome back. Welcome back. Everybody, welcome back. All right. So, guys, welcome back. Last week we learned, yes, awareness. Last week we began to learn about reading and understanding labels. That was a lot of information to process. I'm so glad you came back. This week we're going to go a little bit deeper. We're going to talk about what's really in our food. We're going to have a section on hidden sugars, sodium, and additives, marketing versus truth, and shopping wisely on any budget. So those are going to be the three sections we're going to cover today. So we are going to keep that moving, hop into our room culture because it is very important with the room culture. This is a space where we're learning and not judging. So grace over guilt, progress over pressure, honest reflection, no judgment. And this is our room culture, and I want you guys to sit in it, agree with it. Oh, and Pastor says grace over guilt and no judgment. That is definitely the room that we want to create every time we step in here, that you are able to come in here and just be yourself. So we're going to move on. Last week, I gave you a action, a reflection question. So I'm going to open it up and I want to hear people come off mute. We're going to visit what's one label I will start paying attention to is. That was your action item for last week. So I would love to hear what is one label you started paying attention to.
The ingredients that is in the food and the calories and how many cups is in that package. Because I took
yes, ma'am.
corn, it was 220 calories for a half a cup. Well, before I finished, I'd eaten a half a bag. So I probably had 800 calories.
I'm so glad to hear that. Awareness, just awareness on turn it over. And I'm so glad you did that. Anybody else want to share what they did?
Well, I was reading the back to check the sodium content. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that there were other people in the store doing the same thing.
Yes. You are not alone in this journey. Never. You will find people standing and blocking the aisles too. I am one of those. We are one. Yeah. Most people will stop and do that nowadays. And that's a good thing. Anybody else?
Yes, I look at daily fiber. And one thing that I noticed, Chef Jay, was that my high blood pressure was tending to trend up. And this was over a period of about 2 weeks. Oh. And I started looking at what did I change in my diet the last couple of weeks that caused that to happen? Or was it my diet? Or was it something else? And I noticed that it was my daily fiber. Now, I had not known it to impact blood pressure readings. And so this is kind of information for any of the seniors in our audience that might be taking high fiber diets, that when I tabled that, stopped taking that, my blood pressure returned back to normal, like between 117 over 77
Mhm.
or 120 over like 80. And I watched this for a period of some 5 days. I'm going to continue to do that. But I was talking with Beverly, and I said, I wonder if that was what was triggering my blood pressure. I mean, it had gotten up to like 140 over like 100. And, but I didn't feel any changes in my pulse or anything like that. It was just that the readings, and it was a little wristband type reading
Mhm.
that had been pretty accurate or at least consistent. And
Mhm.
so after about 5 days, it's back to normal.
Mhm.
I'm going to continue to watch that. And then I looked at the label again. I had looked at the label before, and I noticed
Mhm.
that it's, for some people that might watch for their gluten, it's gluten free. The sodium was low. There were really no issues for it. And I increased my dosage because I watched a commercial on TV that said that this doctor was so successful at using a daily fiber like that. She was using Metamucil at the time. This is a Sam's brand. And she said the readings were really good. Well, I tell you, as far as my feeling, Chef Jay, I felt
Yeah.
great, but
Yeah.
my blood pressure was up. So, as a warning to people that might be looking at daily fiber and other things like that, they may want to take notes as to what's happening. But anyhow, that's reading the labels for me.
Mm. I love that you did that, and I love that you kept a trend of what your blood pressure is doing. And that is a good thing that I want to talk about towards the end is as you're doing this, when you become aware, and I want everybody to know everybody's different. Maybe fiber might not affect you, right? Maybe gluten may, maybe a different type of flour. It can affect us all in different spaces. We all have different,
Absolutely.
right? We all have different makeups and anatomy. And so I say, just as you guys are becoming aware of what you're putting in your bodies, you'll start to notice, hey, something's trending, something's aching. A lot of times we know blood pressure is a silent killer, and so we have to be very mindful. And if you are already diagnosed with high blood pressure, we have to be very careful and make sure we're taking it because we don't know what can trigger that, or too much of something can trigger it. So good job. I am
Thank
so
you.
glad that turned out. Yes.
Chef
I,
Jay, I also
One
noticed the.
last moment.
yeah.
Go
One
ahead.
last thing is that normally when I look at the label on the back, it'll
Mhm.
say check with your doctor before
Mhm.
you start doing this, especially if you have blood pressure or diabetes or something like that. There was no such warning in this instance. It was warning for other things. So anyhow, I'll say that and I'm done. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Uh, I would just like to say, Chef Jay, that I'm paying more attention to the serving. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not careful, you can finish your whole bag, and that could be 5 or 6 servings.
Yeah, I heard Miss Gray say that too. She was like, "Oh, I'm eating 800 calories. I finished the whole bag," and I was like, "Yeah, it is definitely that." If we all get wrapped up. Like we're all not perfect, right? But just becoming aware of what we're doing, makes a huge difference. And I love to hear that everybody has different ways. They're becoming aware blood pressure went up. We're noticing changes, good or bad. And we have to be careful about our own elements, as well too, what we've been diagnosed with. Because if we've been diagnosed with something, anything can cause it to fluctuate or go up or trend high or trend low. Because high is bad, so low can be bad too, right? I mean, it can be bad on both ways. So I'm so happy to hear everybody is now flipping it over, becoming aware. checking out their servings, checking out their fiber and their sodium, as Miss June said. I feel like a proud mama that you guys are like flipping it over. And Miss June says she noticed people doing the exact same thing in the middle of the aisle. So yes, join us. We are stopping traffic in the grocery store. So I hope everybody will be stopping traffic to be like, yeah, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? So today I'm really going to make you stop traffic because I'm going to talk about a little bit more. All right. So if we can go ahead and flip a little bit, we're going to go ahead. So last week we definitely talked about Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And so we're going to continue on that because, again, we're in a space where things are of lack of knowledge. Knowledge shifts everything. When we know better, we can nourish ourselves better. And I am a true believer in what we put in our systems, we definitely should know, right? And we also should be aware of how it makes our body feel. Too much fiber, too much sodium, it can make us feel one way or another. So those are examples I want you guys to remember. The more knowledge that you intake, the more we know better, the better we can nourish ourselves. Okay. That is something I want you guys to hang on to and remember as we go through this next session. All right, here we go. So if knowledge changes everything, tonight we're going to look at what we've been taught and what's actually true. Okay. So if you notice marketing versus truth, what the front says versus what the label reveals. All right. Let's keep going. All right. So marketing speaks to you, ingredients reveal the truth. Aha. What that marketing says, and I want to hear about it. Marketing says all natural, low fat, sugar free, made with whole grains, heart healthy. Oh, my favorite, organic, no sugar added. Marketing is designed to sell, guys. That's really what it is, not to inform. I'm sure I'm going to show you. Sometimes they know what they're doing when they're creating those bright red and green packages. They're like, yeah, we're going to make this bright green and we're going to say all natural in this big space. You'll be like, yeah, I can run and do that because it says all natural on the front. But can we? And is it? Is a question I really want you to start turning. Is it all natural? Is it really low fat? Is it heart healthy? Mr. Clark said, hey, on the back, it didn't say warning for blood pressure. Exactly. Not everything is going to have a label, and that's where it is designed to sell to you, not inform you. That is the reason why I always say the ingredients reveal the truth. Okay. Those words don't always mean exactly what they think we mean. So I have a question for you. What is something you thought was healthy, then found out it wasn't? That is a question for everybody. What is something you thought was healthy, and then you found out it wasn't?
Corn.
Yeah. Yes. 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 Anybody else? Corn?
Muffins.
Muffins. Mm-hmm.
Granola bars.
Bagels, yeah.
Yep.
Bagels, granola bars. Yeah.
Nutrigrain
Oatmeal.
bars. Nutrigrain bars.
Nutrigrain. Ooh, yes. Nutrigrain bars. Those bars are trouble. Anything else?
Trail mix.
Trail mix has got a lot of hidden, but a lot and some good. Like there's that the bad always outweighs the good in trail mix. That candy be sneaking up on people. The M&Ms, right? The M&Ms. So those are things that we're like, oh, we've been taught, oh, just eat some trail mix because it has the nuts. Nuts are good for us, right? We're eating healthy. Then we find out, oh, there's a lot of sodium in it. And then sometimes there's sugar, depending on what the peanuts or candy is in that situation, in that trail mix. And it depends on what type of trail mix. Yeah, it starts to run a whole gamut when we discover, oh, that's not really healthy as it's advertised or we thought it was. Okay. So we talked about what marketing says. Like I said, marketing is designed to sell, not to inform. All right, and we're going to go ahead and put it to the next one, please.
Chef Jay,
Yes.
Darren was trying to say something too.
Those
Oh,
dried fruits like banana chips and dried apples and all that stuff. And I see sugar on the back of it. And I was like, okay, that's a little different. But
you can. I think too, like they can be healthy, right? But we need to be mindful too when we dry fruit, it automatically has natural sugars in it. So it can very well be healthy, right? Because fruits have sugar. We just need to be mindful in the ingredients, right? To make sure there's no added sugar. That's the cue here. Added sugar. Fruits always are naturally sweet. I want to be careful. Not all, but the majority are naturally sweet. They produce sugar and then it turns to the carbs. We know it breaks on down. So absolutely, I would just be careful with dried fruits because they can have additives in it, and we're gonna get to that too. All right, what that label reveals. Let's talk about this. Ingredient list. What is really made of? Same thing about the dry fruits, the granola. What is in that list? Okay, added sugars, hidden names. I'm going to talk about all the hidden names, sodium levels. I know trail mix is a hidden gem for sodium because they put salt and then they also add in like mixes. The one thing I have found is Cajun mix or any type of Creole mix. Its number one ingredient is salt. And I don't know if you guys notice that unless you buy the salt free, but usually trail mix is
So are you talking about like Slap Your Mama
correct.
or like that, like
You
Tony's?
got it. They do make salt free of those now, though.
Okay.
Yeah, they do. If you, yeah, it's all the way at the bottom, of course. The salt free Tonys, all that stuff that has salt free is usually at the bottom and the spice out underneath the salt. So you have to bend down to get the salt free Creole seasoning, blackened seasoning. Because usually when face level, that's that marketing space that they want you to see. That is full of additives. All right. So additives and preservatives are what I was just talking about. That can be in anything, spice mixes, like I said, dried fruit. We think dried fruit is just dried fruit. Not really. Sometimes they add preservatives. Sometimes they add sugar. They want it to look a certain way. Also, the label real serving size. This is where they get you. Again, I got stuck eating Cheerios today. Not like normal Cheerios, but apple cinnamon Cheerios by themselves. And then what I didn't realize is some of the additives in there that made it sweet. So I'm just going. And time I had reached my serving level, I was like, oh, I better stop. Right? So all these things I want you guys to realize this is what that label reveals on the back of that marketing. The ingredient list tells the real story. Okay, I want you guys to remember that although it may be flashy and it may be like natural free or organic, I want you to pause when you in that store and be like, I need to turn it over, right? We need to see what's really in there underneath, okay? So what the label reveals is really the real story in which the marketing is there. So we are gonna go to the next one.
So I just got a quick question.
Sure.
Are they obligated to put that in there even though it's in fine print or whatever? Are they obligated to tell the bad side?
FDA is weird, and the answer is no in its simplest form. They are not. How they hide it is they put things that are hidden, and FDA is strict to some extent, but as we're going to move on, I'm going to show you how they hide things. And that's something we really should be mindful of. So the FDA does its job to a certain extent, but there's some more it could probably crack down on just like this. We were just talking about granola. Everybody look at my little beautiful Nature Valley crunchy oats and honey. I had to bring out the actual thing so y'all could see. Okay, this is an actual package. Granola bars are a big thing. Marketing versus truth. The front of the package is designed to sell you, right? And if we look here, it says 100% natural oats. It's made with 100% natural oats, no artificial flavorings, good source of whole grain. Okay, we're going to talk about that. This is the front of the marketing, what wants you to see. Now, let's get to the ingredient list, which is on the back. Looks good, sounds good, but let's look closer, right? So, the ingredients, the number one ingredient is whole grain oats. Good. That's a good thing. Whole grain oats. That is telling you, yes, it does have natural oats and it does have whole grain in here. That is good. We love that. But look what the second one is. Sugar.
Sugar.
Sugar. Why is the second ingredient in a granola bar sugar? Because what we know about those first ingredients, what do we know?
The first three are the most, have the most of it in there.
And
Correct.
lots of sugar in there. Yeah.
Got it. Lots of sugar. Lots of sugar. And of course, on that front of that box, it doesn't say, hey, lots of sugar, right? No. And then your next third ingredient is oil, canola oil. And then it goes on down, brown sugar syrup, corn syrup, honey, salt, baking soda, natural flavors. And it really keys you in to be like, what's natural flavors? Right? We don't know. This is where that hidden truth, Miss Hope, that we don't know. This is the FDA. As long as you list the ingredients, they don't have to give a full explanation. We don't know what's in natural flavors. So I just want to leave that out there. So what this means, sugar is one of the first ingredients. It contains corn syrup and added sugars. The natural flavors can include many unknown additives, and that's the hidden truth when you flip it over. It appears to be more of this is processed. So meaning they dump, meaning all the ingredients are processed in a processing, I hate to say plant. And that is where they get it. So I want you, and this is something that's in the physical store. Definitely granola bars. Kids are drawn to it because mom, look, I love it. It has honey. It's crunchy. It's great. And we can already debunk no artificial flavors. Well, we don't know that because natural flavor could be artificial. We don't know that, right? Good source of whole grain. Well, the only thing that we know that's whole grain is just the oats, and they can put that on the front. We don't know if it's more, less, how much. That's in here. So again, we're going to go through another one that I found to be great. Awareness is the first step to change. Read it, understand it, choose it. Okay.
But before we move forward,
Yes.
that particular one has 4 different forms of sugar. It's got natural sugar,
Yep.
and then it has the brown sugar syrup, corn syrup, and honey.
Yes, ma'am. All that sugar.
Another point I wanted to bring out too, Chef Jay. Now what about food coloring?
That's an additive.
That's an additive.
And
so they can also
that can also
have a negative effect, right?
You got it. You sure can. And when we get to the hidden ingredients, I broke everything down. So you guys, if you want to take notes, absolutely. I made lists of things that will make you aware of when you flip it over that you should be like, I didn't realize that was sugar, or I didn't realize that was sodium, you know? So I want, when we get there, I'll leave it up so you guys can take notes if you want to. And we'll talk about them as well too, because some of them you may know, some of them you may not. So this is granola. All right, let's go to the next one.
Chef Jay, it looks like
Yes.
Miss June has her hand up too.
Oh, sorry, I can't see. Hi.
It's a black hand based on this thing. So, but anyway, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're
I,
good.
I'm supposed to be asking a question.
Please.
Do we have somewhere what's on this screen in our book or online where we could print it off or look at it, or are we supposed to be looking at the one that's on the
Um,
screen?
these are for you, but I sent them over to Pastor Andrea.
Okay,
Um,
we have them somewhere.
she does. She has the screen prints. If
Oh,
you
that's
guys,
what I'm saying. All we have is what we see on the screen. Is that correct?
you have your book. This is not on. This is not in your book. Like some
Okay,
of.
that's what I'm saying. This is
Yeah.
not in our book,
No,
correct?
it's not. No,
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss something.
you didn't.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, sorry. You have the books just to supplement what we're doing, and that's for your like personal time, right, Chef Jay?
Yeah.
But then we have the slides, but I can send the slides over too if y'all want those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if it,
What'd you say, Miss
Which
June?
I don't want you to do a whole bunch of extra stuff to get them to us, but some of us eyesight ain't so good. But
Okay,
no. I took a screenshot of all of them. So I'm
okay.
just saying, am I doing something and we
No,
already
no,
have
no,
it? Okay.
no.
Don't do nothing else.
Okay.
We good.
oh, okay.
I'm good. Let me say I'm good.
Okay.
Okay. All right. They are available if this is readily available if you guys want Pastor Andrew to send it out to you as well.
I'll need them.
Yeah.
My eyesight is not happy either.
Oh no. All right. Last little bit of marketing and truth. This is something in the store. Brown berry, 100% whole wheat bread. Okay. This is the front of the package. What marketing wants you to see. 100% whole wheat. Good source of fiber. Heart healthy. No high fructose corn syrup. Okay. Looks wholesome. Sounds healthy. Let's take a closer look at this ingredient list. We do know the number one ingredient is whole wheat flour. They can use that 100% whole wheat claim all day. That can be put up there. Water. And they just said, hey, no high fructose corn syrup. But what is ingredient number 3?
Dun,
High
dun, dun.
right? High
Mm-hmm.
fructose corn syrup
Yep.
in whole wheat natural bread. Heart healthy. Okay. It also has wheat gluten. Yeast contains 2% or less of the following. So oil, soybean oil, salt, honey, cultured whole wheat flour, vinegar, molasses, calcium propionate, that's a preservative. And then the list goes on. So these are additives, preservatives, things that can make it sit on the shelf forever. In some ways, they do have an expiration date. But now we are looking at the claims, the marketing claims. You pick it up and be like, yeah, I'm heart healthy, but am I really with the high fructose corn syrup? Sugar, another word for sugar. So our item 3 out of the 3 is sugar again in bread. So I want to bring that to the attention. The second ingredient is added sugar. Contains preservatives and chemical additives. And those words that you can't pronounce are the chemical additives that they put into bread. Okay, 100% whole wheat doesn't always mean 100% whole grain. Okay, more processed than it appears. So I'm just putting this out here for you guys to see. This is something that is in our grocery stores as of today. I love that they say no high fructose corn syrup, and that is our third ingredient. That is wild.
I was going to ask about that if they show it on the front of the bread sack. And then on the back side, it's the third thing. Lord have mercy.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Welcome to my world. I love that you guys are noticing, making you aware. This is my favorite part of getting people to actually see what we've been putting in our bodies, not even knowing. Something simple as when they say 100% whole wheat, you're like, yeah, great, heart healthy, great. And then you're like, and then you flip it over, you're like, oh, is this really heart healthy? Is this really all the sugar that I should be eating? So these are great two examples. These are two that I just picked out because these are things I find that are pretty popular. Bread, every now and then a granola bar.
Chef,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry for interrupting.
Yeah.
I was thinking, and then these breads like this, like you
Mhm.
see that, and you see brown, what is it, brown berry,
Yeah.
and you think like, oh, that's expensive. Oh, it got to be 100% because this is like $10 and bread is like $5. I mean,
Yes.
you just kind of automatically think that.
Yes. Yes. And brownberry is expensive. And if I'm correct, it is on the higher end of the bread spectrum. And even what I have come to find, and I know there are, we like to call them bread snobs, because some people believe, some people, Darren, some people are bread snobs, like they like to eat their brownberry, or they like to eat, is it Wonder Bread? I mean, they like to eat what they like to eat, right? And so I'm going to challenge you. Sometimes, even in these brown berries and Walmart brands and Research or Target brands, sometimes you can find one that truly is exactly what it says it is, but reading the label is going to let you understand how that's working. It does sometimes the most non-marketing thing can be some of the best things for you, but that's where research has to come in and knowing what's good for you and what you're willing to do.
Mm. Chef Jay, you may have already gone over this, but high fructose corn syrup is it's just a byproduct, like a waste, basically,
Mhm.
of what? Is it of corn?
Corn and sugar. So
Corn
it's a
and sugar.
sugar. Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it's a corn and sugar. So this is like it's a
correct.
fake sugar.
You
Okay.
got it. Yep, you got it.
Gotcha. Well, I went for like 6 months one time and didn't know how fructose corn syrup at all. Like I
Hmm.
had to check the back of my what is that stuff called? Oh, like barbecue sauces. Like
Hmm.
every sauce, I had to check every single sauce or whatever. And I ended up losing like probably about 20 pounds just like off the cuff, just
Oh yeah.
simply because of staying away from high fructose corn syrup. And so that was just an amazing like, kind of experiment. Obviously I went back to some of it, but like in the sodas,
Yep.
things like that. So I had to go and find other alternatives, to the high fructose corn syrup. But I was just shocked as to how many things has high fructose corn syrup in it. You know what I mean? So like
Yep.
ketchup, barbecue sauce, like,
Hmm.
those type of things. So it's kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
I think all like you said, sauces are really known for it, but also too, it's kind of that hidden ingredient in food. As we're learning bread, it gives it that sweet taste. Artificial sugar gives taste, and so some people like it. It's hard to break. It's one of those. It's a sugar, and I have a list of sugars that maybe you look at and be like, "Oh, I didn't realize that." Um, so yeah, let's go to the next one. All right, let's talk about hidden sugars, sodium, and additives. These ingredients can quietly impact your health and your choices, okay? So we are getting ready to uncover some hidden things that are happening here. All right, here we go. Hidden sugars. We were just talking about that. High fructose corn syrup. These are things that you can find on the back of your label, and I want to say that. These are things when you flip over and you don't realize there's sugar. So that's something on the back of the people like, oh, what is sugar cane or cane juice? It's a form of sugar. What is dextrose? Sugar. Maltose? Sugar. Agave nectar? Sugar. Fruit juice concentrate? That's sugar, right? Sugar doesn't always say sugar. If it ends in ose, OSE, it's usually sugar. Dextrose, maltose, you can pretty much guarantee that's a hidden sugar. So these things, when you guys are now looking on the back and looking at your ingredient list, and it may have, we know high fructose corn syrup, but did we know cane sugar and cane juice is sugar? Because they're hidden. It's not something the mind connects to be like, oh, that's a different type of sugar, especially dextrose and maltose. Those are forms that I notice a lot. People don't realize they're eating sugar, and these are just hidden. Okay, so I want you guys, when you start going in and flipping over, this stuff can be found in sauces, breads, yogurts, as Britt said, barbecue sauce, ketchup, sometimes hot sauce, depends on what it is. These are things that you're going to see on the back of that label. It's not always going to give you sugar. Okay. And it's not always going to say that for you as well, too. All right. Oh, this is my favorite. Sodium. And a lot of people I know, they're like, oh, it's just salt. How much salt is hidden? You can catch salt in your can, frozen or processed foods, right? It can be sodium chloride, MSG, sodium nitrate, baking soda, sodium bentonite, Nate. Sorry.
Can I ask the
So,
question really quick?
no,
In a lot of Asian foods, I hear the MSG.
yes,
What is that?
it's
Is
a
it like some of them cook with it and then some
yes,
of them don't? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is that?
yeah. So it's a controversy to MSG or not to MSG. If you
Mhm.
notice, and I'm answering that, if you notice some products have no MSG in it, MSG is just a form of salt. There's nothing else. And I think it's just a way, excuse me, that is created that it caused all the havoc. And I don't know if you remember um Andrew and Bridget, do you remember coming up? There was this whole thing about no MSG because it can hurt you and kill you. It was like a big thing on the
Mm,
news
hmm.
about MSG. It was just too much sodium, too much salt, and it's nothing but a different form of salt, just like sodium chloride, baking soda, and that's usually what Asians use. It's their form of salt. They don't use table salt, sea salt. They usually use MSG. So it's just a form of salt. That's it. Nothing more.
Okay, thank you. Yeah,
You're
because I mean,
welcome.
that's one that I know, like I said, a lot of my I really like I really like a good stir fry,
Me too.
or or sushi, or things like that or whatever. So I hear about the MSG, and I've always was scared to what is that? Is it
Yeah.
something special? But it's just salt.
It's just salt. And I think too, like with anything, right? We have to be mindful of how much, right? How much salt, how much MSG, how much table salt, baking soda. I think we just need to be mindful of how much sodium you are inputting into your body, right? It all adds up over time. And I think we learned when we read our labels, in that one label that I put, it was 37% sodium, salt. That is
Can
why,
you can
yeah,
you tell us one more time how much is a good daily intake of salt or sodium?
it's going to be different for everybody. And I'm
Okay.
gonna, yeah, because there may, and I've seen it to where there are people that are low in sodium, so their doctor
Up
makes them
some.
up salt. And then there are some people that have like, oh, I may have high blood pressure, so I may want to watch my salt intake, and maybe
Hmm.
instead of salt, I may start to use herbs. Or Mrs. Dash became famous because of the no salt thing.
Hmm.
So it just ranges. 37 is too high. I would
Hmm.
go anywhere, just normal people. I'm gonna say that. Please check with your doctor, your nutritionist, your nurse. Um, I would say a good amount of salt a day. I would say anything under between 10 and 15% for your daily intake.
10
Yeah,
and 15%. Okay.
yeah. intake. So I'll just be mindful of that now. Do I know we're intaking more than that? Most likely, depending on, where we're at, if we're eating out, probably. But yeah, just be mindful of the salt. We do know. Go ahead. I hear somebody saying
10
something.
and 15% of what? I know we were talking about salt, but
Correct. So, all right. I wish I could go back to the
don't.
thing. No. I'm just gonna say when you go, or if Andrea sends it out, go back to last week. I had the workout, the handout. I had a nutrition facts label, right? And there's a daily value on the side that adds up to 100.
Okay.
Mhm.
Got it.
That's what I was referring to. So you want to keep it fairly low, unless your doctor, nurse, nutrition says something different.
Well, Chef Jay,
Yes.
this today,
Yes.
Ashley and I went to the store.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to get, because Bridget is trying to keep her sodium down so she don't get high cholesterol or whatever.
Fair enough.
Anyway, so we were looking at some tomatoes, tomato sauce, and I like to get the petite diced tomatoes in tomato juice.
Mm-hmm.
I think half of the can must be sodium, because when I looked over at the ones that didn't have the tomato juice in it, it said no.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 15%. And I'm thinking what I asked Ashley, I said, well, what are they putting in it to take away the sodium? He said, probably water, mama.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
crazy.
Mm-hmm. Correct, because
Wow.
that's those additives, it can add up. People don't, when you start to realize things in water, right, are much better for us. And I say that too when we talk about canned foods, right? Things in water, if you notice, the sodium is going to be down. And I'm going to talk about that at the end as well too. But things in water, like fruit in its natural juices, you'll notice is much better than fruit in syrup, right? Same concept. If it's the fruits in the syrup, sugar, more sugar, when it's in its natural phases. So that's when we start doing those additives, is what starts to hike up and spike up sodiums, sugars, stuff like that. We have to be very mindful of
Chef
that.
Jay, your label is up if you wanted to chat about it.
Oh, there it is. Hey, there's my label. Okay. So on the side, guys, it says the daily value, and that daily value is 100%. So this one was 850 megs. Now remember milligrams. And what I want to say to you about this is per serving. Per serving. So everything that you view on here on your daily value is per serving. So if you had 2 servings or whatever, you would be at 1900 milligrams of sodium. That is well beyond, honestly, what you probably should be intaking, right? So just, I think also too, we have to read the label as serving size too, because sometimes that can of tomatoes that Miss June was talking about, yeah, it could say, oh, it has 200 grams of sodium, but what's in that serving size to get you there? And what are you going to put it in, and how is it going to be cooked? That's kind of where everything starts to come together. And that's just when you read labels, that is exactly just the product that you're taking out of that label.
Everybody take a breath. Let the church
Take a
say
breath.
what?
I was just about to
Amen.
say.
Everybody
We're
take a
going to
breath.
die,
Take a
y'all.
breath.
Let the church say ouch
Take
in
a breath. Take
Jesus'
a breath.
name.
Take a
We
breath. Take
can't
a
eat
breath.
nothing.
Exactly.
Miss June done come off camera. She say, "Look now, wait a minute. Okay,
And then Chef Jay,
Awareness is good.
it
Awareness is
is.
good,
and Chef Jay,
right?
one thing. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. One thing is I think me and Andrew were we were in Whole Foods, and we made it to the register,
Yeah.
and we had got like potatoes or something, apples or something, and they said, "Oh, are these organic? Or are these not organic?" It's like, huh? I thought the whole store was organic. we both looked at each other like, okay, we don't know, because we just picked them up,
Yeah.
thinking the whole store's organic.
It is not.
Mm.
I have a
It is
quick
not.
question too,
Shoot.
and it's really a legitimate question. But
Oh,
do you have a list of foods we should eat?
no, I did not.
I do.
Oh, I'd be rich.
I do.
I'd be so rich, but I don't. And I think you, I think you really, I don't want to say what I think you should. I think people really don't want it, but maybe like a suggested amount of food. I think if there was a list, right, and I handed it to you, you're gonna be like, is this all I get to eat?
I think that's the problem.
Yeah, right. I think that is a whole problem, right? But I think also too, this awareness that I'm sharing with you, I would hope it would start to make you expand because
Right.
there's so much more food that you could be exploring that maybe you're just so set in a box, Jocelyn. Um, sometimes we get set in this box and we like what we like. And sometimes when we start to create awareness around things that are now we know that are not the best for us, that causes us to explore other things. Or maybe we just a little bit eat it a little bit at a time. So I wish there was a golden food box that I could give you, Miss Hope, but there's not. But what I can say is make sure you're checking those first three ingredients. Keep reading that nutrition label. I know as much as I am making you so aware, it can be a lot. I do understand that, but maybe start creating one that you like as you start to learn and keep going through. I wish I did have one.
Well, as far as the mix, the trail mix,
Yeah.
okay,
Mhm.
like I make my own, and I got walnuts, I got um raisins, uh
Mhm.
what else do I put in there? Walnuts, raisins, and everything is, I think, is good. So
Right.
all those other ingredients, and so my trail mix is okay, right? I mean,
Um.
because everything is natural.
So there's no salt added or
I
anything.
don't add no salt. No.
Um. Make sure. What I'll say to you is double check to make sure your walnuts do not. If you are trying to be natural, make sure your walnuts don't have any added salt. It's
Oh, okay.
okay. Yeah. Make sure the salt. Check your label and say, "Oh, does it have added
Oh,
salt?"
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That would be the only thing I would say about that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Yeah. All right. So sodium we know adds up over time. And we do know what the course, I heard Miss June say cholesterol, high blood pressure. Yeah, it is a whole thing. All right, let's move. All right. Uncle Lloyd, this is where it comes in, the food coloring and all the stuff, okay? So these are additives that you'll see on the back of the label. Additives preserve, enhance, and extend shelf life. If you can't pronounce it, pause, right? That I'm not saying I buy it, but just pause, right? So we have artificial flavors, and yes, they can put artificial flavors and not list what those are. They could put natural flavors and not tell us what those natural flavors are. Red 40, yellow 5, xanthan gum, carrageen. Oof. So these are all different. I rarely see that last one on food, but those first one, two, three, four, I see that often on when I
Mm-hmm.
head to the store, especially that red 40.
Mm-hmm.
So not everything added is here to support your body. Okay. I'm giving you these additives so you can now start to look at that ingredient list and be like, oh, I don't know what that is, but it says artificial flavors. Okay. Additives are for preserve, enhance, and extend shelf life.
Mm-hmm.
Think of
Yep.
chips, and I hate to use that word. Chips have quite a few additives. Sometimes pastry, sometimes so they can sit there. Different things like that have additives. Again, pause, flip it over. If you want it, get it. If
One
you're
more thing,
questioning it, go ahead.
Chef Jay. I was just thinking, the
Yes.
things that we don't understand what they are, can we ask AI? No, I'm very serious because AI tell us a lot of things that we didn't know.
Um,
So do you think it's safe to ask them?
you can. Now, what I want to say is AI will guess.
Guess. Okay.
Yes, guess, because artificial flavors and natural flavors, they don't have a clue what's in there either.
Okay.
And that's the other thing is the FDA. Again, we love the FDA here in the United States. They don't include what those are, but there is a list below that it could possibly be in those artificial and natural flavors as well too. So these are something that you don't want to rule out. Again, guys, if you like something, this is not for you to stop eating the Oreos. Okay, that's not my intention. Eat those Oreos. My intention is just to make you aware of
So,
what is in your food. Mhm.
so Pastor Jay, what is this xanthan? What am I pronouncing it?
Xanthan gum. Mhm.
Uh-huh.
It's a preservative. It's something that keeps things on the shelf
Oh,
that we
okay.
can. Yeah, it's
So,
just a form of additive.
so is it in most foods or just certain foods that you run
So
across?
just depends. I see mainly xanthan gum in like baked goods, breads, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually when I see xanthan gum.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. So those I hope that helped you understand when you turn that over what you're actually looking for. Because I know you're like, what is that? I don't know if that's sugar or if I don't know if that's sodium. Now you know different lists and different things that can come up as sugar or sodium or additives. And you were like, oh, that is what Chef Jay was talking about. That added in to make our shelf life stay. Okay. All right. Again, guys, I have said a lot. I have talked a lot. I want you to know I'm not trying to instill fear. Again, awareness. I will continuously be in like as long as you are aware, you have that knowledge. All right. Shopping on a budget. Let's do this. And this is a space and where I'm going to talk to you guys about different things and how you can do this. I am not going to be specific about a budget, but what I can do is give you knowledge on, what you may or may not want to do. So we are going to talk about all options that can nourish you: fresh, frozen, and canned. Okay. And so fresh is usually great when it's accessible. Fresh can also be kind of pricey, right? We are all aware that fresh foods can be pricey. But what I do want to give you some knowledge and education about, if you sometimes cannot afford fresh, let's talk about frozen. Okay. Frozen foods are just as nutritious. They have a longer shelf life. And let me explain why. Frozen foods are in the beginning fresh, right? They are picked and frozen at its prime space, meaning you pull okra, just for an example, frozen okra. They pick that okra, they freeze it at its peak, and then it just stays frozen. It's the same amount except for it gets frozen, sits in the freezer. It is the same amount as fresh. Same thing. It was once fresh, picked at its peak, now it's frozen. So use that also as an option for yourself when you are trying to gauge a budget. If you cannot afford that fresh, head on to that frozen section. Okay. Let's talk about canned food because I feel like canned food sometimes, guys, gets a really bad rap. And I think they've done a really good job now of making canned food. I don't know if you guys have been in the can aisle. They now have options. And I don't know if you see the options. Like I was in the store the other day and I bought black beans. And my black beans usually are just there with all the salt additives and stuff like that. Now, my black beans that I get, they are just in a can and it says no sodium, meaning nothing has been added to that can, just black beans and water. So I want you guys, maybe if you, I use beans as an example, maybe if you wanted to buy beans, you buy with no sodium, you know, that removes the salt aspect. Or maybe if you want to buy green beans, which was picked at its freshest height, and buy with no sodium and put in water. Because they're very clear on that can what it sits in, right? Canned foods can be beneficial. I'm gonna let y'all breathe for a second. Questions coming up, heads nodding. All right, I'm gonna keep moving. All right, so those are 3 items. Don't be scared. If you have the option to buy fresh, buy fresh. If you want to extend, save, buy frozen, canned. They both last a long time. And also be mindful of your fridge and your space in which you have any of that. Okay. I want you to be mindful of how much you're buying because sometimes we tend to overbuy. I do. And you just need to buy what you have space for. Now, let's talk about protein, animal protein to be exact. Stretch your protein budget. I'm gonna make a statement, and you may agree, you may not. I buy majority of my meat in bulk, and the reason why I do buy my meat in bulk is for a couple reasons. One, it's cheaper per pound. Two, I know when I get home, I'm going to take the meat out of that packaging and divide it up into usually pound or 2 pound, depending on your family, pound packages at home. And then I'm going to immediately freeze it. So this is always another saving hack if you can buy the family pack, right? And maybe it's just 2 of you there. You buy a family pack of pork chops, and there's 8 of them in there, divide it up into 4 or divide them up into 2s, right? And then you can label and put them in your freezer and pull them out as you need it. That way you're not always unthawing and re-thawing, refreezing because we shouldn't be doing that anyway, but I know people do that. But if you buy it in bulk, it cheapens the price. You're able to do with it what you want when you want. You portion it out and you freeze just the amount. Okay? Another saving hack that I've always loved, and I don't know, every store is different in what I'm going to say. Look for markdowns, clearance meats. There's nothing the matter with those. What I'll say to you again is just get it home, take it out of its package, portion it out, freeze it. That meat, now, I will say be very careful. It should not be turning colors. That's not what I mean. But sometimes they put it down because they have too much. So it's not that it's bad, it's just they have too much out. So buy that cheap meat, portion it out, put it in the freezer. And that way it's always there. My store is down here. If we shop early, I get better discounts when I shop early, especially on the clearance and the markdowns, because they're trying to get rid of it before their day starts. Also, too, when I shop in the morning, I don't have to worry about people. And if I'm in the aisle, turn it over, look at the ingredient list. Same thing late in the evening as well, too. So I notice that things, if you go first thing in the morning, at least down here, you're able to find those markdowns that you are trying to not pay full price for. Again, free same day if discounted. That's the same thing that I was talking about up there with your meats. And this can also go for fish. I would be very mindful with fish. It should not smell. Um, you know, it should not smell. So just be mindful of if you are trying to buy seafood and fish, because they do put that on discount as well. I would say The sooner you use that, probably the much better. Right. So this is kind of my space in like being able to budget shop. You figure out what works for your budget, what you need, and buy what you need. And the meat, I usually talk about buying in bulk because it ends up being cheaper that way. Especially I'm single here. I buy meat in bulk and I just break it up and pull it out when I'm ready to actually eat it. Questions about this? Frozen, fresh, anything?
So, Chef Jace, I
Yeah.
imagine you have to label your frozen products because they don't last very long.
It, you
They go
know,
bad.
well, mine. Look, I have a like a first in first out system in here, but not everybody does. That's the reason why I label. And I really try not to leave anything in my freezer longer than um 3 to 4 months because they'll start to get frostbitten, right? We want to be mindful of that's why I said be careful of what you're buying, right? How much you're buying. Um, Divide it up, portion it, and know you're going to use it, right? That's that budget tendency of hey, for the next couple months, do I know I'm going to be eating pork chops or am I going to be eating ground beef? Is it going to be worth it for me to do that? Because you're right, it can go bad. Frozen meat can go bad.
And Chef Zay, I had a question too.
Shoot.
As far as like thawing it out, I
Mm-hmm.
know the old-fashioned way was put it in water or let it sit out. And is that
Mm-hmm.
the right way or correct way if you're doing? I
No,
think you said it's before the refrigerator to
No,
thaw out. I heard all of it.
no.
no.
The correct way, what it should have been is take it out the night before and put it in the fridge. That is a correct way. Because what you run into is if it starts to thaw and it gets above, I think the 40-degree temp, then we run into it turning into sorry, bacteria, it can get poisoned, right? So we want to be careful. So my always suggestion, you're gonna have to plan ahead. Take it out the night before if it's frozen. What you can do, what I have done too, is if you want to give it that head start and it's completely frozen, you're still going to need to watch it to make sure it doesn't get completely unthawed. You can put it in some water, but once that's done, you need to move it to the fridge. It can't stay out. Parents said, put it on the counter. Can't do that. Put in some water. I'll be home. Can't do that either because we run the risk of getting sick, food poisoning, if it stays out all day, if it stays in water all day, because that means it's unthawed. It hasn't been kept at a temperature that it needs to be kept at.
So the Lord has been watching over us all these years. Is that
Yes,
what you're trying to tell us?
yes,
That
ma'am.
God, that none of
Correct.
us have
Yes, ma'am.
gotten majorly sick.
He
That
has been watching.
so when they say the Lord is watching over,
Yes.
the Lord's been watching because
He's
this has
been
been how it's
watching.
been for
Generations
years
and
and years.
generations. Okay, so
Yes.
I'm a
we are
witness.
all wow.
I'm a witness.
I mean, how many people got a whooping or a good tongue lashing because you didn't take something out of the refrigerator? And so now we can go back to our parents and say, this was you were trying to kill us. And so this was not the chef said that this is not the proper way to, you know.
Chef's gonna get hate mail because parents are like, "What? What you say?"
They have food out there day, letting it thaw out. And that's not water.
Yeah, yeah.
Help us, Lord, help us.
Well, listen, thanks be unto God for watching over
That's
babies
right.
Right?
and those who were uneducated on accident. Praise the Lord.
Just taste it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mama. She said that all the time. She tell us, "Well, taste it and see if it's still
Right,
good."
the milk and all that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not her
that's why I
taste.
don't eat.
Not her
That's why I
taste.
don't
But
drink
y'all
milk to
taste
this
it. The
day.
kids
I just
taste it.
can't do it. Sorry, Deacon Lloyd, were you gonna say something? I think I
Oh,
cut you off on
no, I'm
accident.
just
Oh, okay.
you're
Yeah, that's
fine.
why. That's why I don't drink milk to this day. I refuse to pretend to try to taste it. Hallelujah.
Again, guys, our parents didn't know what they didn't know, right? Now that we're aware,
Right.
okay. So grace, grace, survival, grace, survival,
Grace and mercy. Yes.
grace and
Listen,
mercy.
We go,
that's why we had to pray over the food real good.
we're gonna say Chef
Lord,
Jay said.
Uh-huh.
Chef Jay, not me, Mama. Chef Jay
as
said
Jay said, right, right. Good thing she's in office.
Right. And my email. Please don't give her my email. Please don't. My phone number, email. Please don't do that. No, in all seriousness, right? Like growing up, our parents did what they were taught, right? We did what we were taught. But now we are aware, right? And
Right.
the things that we do now when we're aware is very different. So I gave you the information. You're aware. What you choose to do from this point forward, there it is. So yeah, we're gonna give our parents some grace. That's where I'm at with that. All right, we're gonna wrap this up. Last week I talked about our foundation um and now there has been a fourth one added, but I'm gonna go over. Last week I made some examples of what this was. So always, last week I said stewardship is you plus God plus your body. I care for myself by honoring God and respecting my body He has given me. I am responsible. I am a responsible steward. This is how every week I'm able to break down everything, how I'm able to talk about things. A stewardship, you plus God plus your body. I am a responsible steward. Community, what we normalize. We surround ourselves with people and environments that support healthy habits and growth. This is something I choose what I normalize. You always get a choice. Community is what we make it, who we choose to be around. And it's also, again, what we normalize. Covenant is alignment plus intentional living. Okay. I live in alignment with my values, make intentional choices, and walk in agreement the life I desire. Okay. I live aligned. I live on purpose. That is the covenant. I live aligned and I live on purpose. What I've been doing for the past couple weeks is the practical. That's the fourth one. Okay. What we actually do, that's the practical. I educate myself, make informed choices, and take action that protects my health and prevent diseases. We talked a little bit today about high blood pressure and how that can happen, diabetes, sugars, sodium, and how over time these can happen. We also are aware that some of these things are very much hereditary, but maybe we slow that down a little bit, right? In our practical life, what we actually do, health plus your awareness. I am making you aware and what you choose to do, right? Is going to be really up to you. Awareness leads to action, right? Now you guys are, I promise you, you're probably not going to see things the same again. And I love that for y'all. I do. 4 areas working together for a life of wholeness and purpose. Mindful choices today, a healthier tomorrow. Guys, I made this in connection with you guys. I wanted you guys to realize the things that we are taking out of here and what we're actually doing in this section. Okay. And so, like I've said here, this is just not about food. This is about our lives and the choices that we make. High blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, strokes. Stroke Awareness Month is next month. Many of these are connected to what we consistently put into our bodies. So as we move on with that, not one meal, but over time is exactly how we get to these spaces. Okay, hidden sugars, excess sodium, processed ingredients, they all add up. Again, you're now aware. Sometimes we are just not aware. Our knowledge was not there. Again, it's not about fear. It is about awareness. So as we shut out, this is something I say. You may repeat, you may say it to yourself. I want you guys to remember stewardship over perfection, progress over pressure, growth over guilt, fuel is fuel, food is fuel, sorry, not shame, and my body is worthy of care. Okay. And I'm going to give you your activity or your action item for the week. Yep. So this action item is called Flip It Over Challenge. Flip It Over Challenge. You are going to choose 2 to 3 items you regularly buy at the store this week and read the ingredient list before you purchase or consume it. What you're looking for, the first 3 ingredients, any form of sugar, sodium levels, and ingredients you don't recognize. Okay? So it's called a Flip It Over Challenge. I'm going to challenge you to go to that store, flip it over, take a pause, and I want you to look at those first 3 ingredients. Any ingredients you're not aware of, any sugar or sodium levels.
Amen to
All
that.
right, there you go.
Yes, very good. Very good. Hey y'all, before Pastor changes over, can we do this group affirmation together? Did everybody do that with her? Did you already do that with
Yes.
her? If you can, turn your cameras on. Let's do this group affirmation because there is power in what we say. There's power in what we do. And so if we can say this with her. So Chef Jay, if you can read this,
Sure.
we're going to actually read this with you. Is everybody ready?
Ready?
Give me a
All right,
thumbs up. Everybody's ready? Okay.
everybody ready?
All right.
Stewardship,
So
Yep.
over perfection,
And
progress
progress
over
over
pressure,
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 growth
growth,
over
Growth over
guilt,
guilt,
food
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 is
and
fuel,
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 not
not
shame.
not
shame.
shame. Mhm. My
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 body
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 is worthy
is
of care.
worthy of care.
worthy of care. Okay. There is power in our words. There's power in our community together, right? The other one that she was showing us is those are some great affirmations that we can say, maybe even before we go to the grocery store. Maybe this is something we can say to ourselves, that this is progress over pressure. Instead of me feeling guilty at the register or in the aisle, this is growth. My job is to grow.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to kind of throw those things that are specifically in there because I think once you receive a lot of information, you can feel very overwhelmed by guilt, right? Because we are all guilty. Can somebody say amen that we all, because and it's some of it is like just because we just didn't know. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we intentionally did stuff. And sometimes we do. Like Lowry's is something that our grandmothers use. You know what I'm saying? We got Lowry's, potentially in our pantries right now, right? And so when we see that, we see good taste and stuff as Black folks, you know what I'm saying, versus salty stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Salty means good tasting, you know what I mean? And so I just want us to as we are um as we are adopting this philosophy of covenant with self, that part of this is coveting to take care of ourselves. So I think that's what what she's sharing and what she's trying to say. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I think that this is something that we can maybe speak every single day. You know what I'm saying? Is this group affirmation. All right. Pastor Andrew.
Chef Jay, did you have anything more? Are you finished?
I'm finished.
Okay, thank you. Can we, as we take a deep breath, thank God for Chef Jay.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is
Yes.
truly eye-opening. Some
Oh,
things you
yes.
may know, some things you may be just coming into the knowledge of, but we are grateful. We are grateful. We are grateful for you, Chef Jay, for
We
all
are.
you have given, for the gift of God in you. Thank you for this.
Oh,
So
yes.
let this group affirmation be our benediction, that you go now in peace and the Lord God go with you as you care for your body, this covenant that God has given us with self. We thank God this evening. We thank God for each of you. And we love you.
We love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And have a blessed evening, everyone.